Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football and welcome to the Europa League Cup Final. It's a different story to 12 months ago, but it is a Premier League club who go into it favourites. Obviously, 12 months ago, it was Tottenham against Man United. Tonight, it's Istanbul. It's Aston Villa against FREIBURG. And I just had a quick bowl of Rice Krispies. Aston Villa with the opportunity to win a trophy, which they don't often do, Villa. So, I mean, it's a big opportunity there, but also qualify for the Champions League, which I think they've already done anyway, haven't they? I think they've already qualified for the Champions League with in the top five. I don't think they can be caught. Well, they can't. No, they've qualified anyway. They're in the top four, Villa. So it's about the trophy, and it's a massive season for Villa. Champions League qualification in the top five of the Premier League and the Europa League is a dream season for them, and it's a dream scenario. They are favourites in this game, but if you know That's Football, if you're not new, subscribe. If you are new, then we've had Bundesliga footage all season on a Friday night on That's Football exclusively. It is FREIBURG. A lot of people say, what can you tell us about FREIBURG? Well, not a lot, because I don't think we actually got a game live of FREIBURG. I think they were probably, correct me if I'm wrong, I think they might be the only team that we didn't actually ever get on a Friday night. So we didn't get to watch them. I know a bit about them from the highlights packages and stuff like that, but they are that sort of team, FREIBURG. They are good. They are good. They bring atmosphere. They score goals. They concede goals. Just like everybody, but they finished 7th in the Bundesliga, higher than Eintracht Frankfurt. So 7th place, that's normally where FREIBURG are, sort of around outside the top 6, but not in the bottom area. So yeah, and they've done well to get here. They won't be favourites for this game. The favourites will be Villa, but I would describe them as a very competent side, and if Villa get it wrong tonight, they could be on the end of something that they don't want. I think Villa win though. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Torres, Digne, Lindelof in the midfield with Tielemans. Does that mean it's a back five? McGinn, Rogers, Bendia, Watkins. Now a lot of people are saying, why is Lindelof there? I don't know, because I really did think Onana would play. Obviously, they've done fantastically well, Aston Villa, not having Kamara with a bad injury all season. Huge player for them. But they do have Douglas Luiz on the bench, and they do have Onana on the bench, so they didn't need to put Lindelof in there next to Tielemans. But I do wonder if it's a back five and a front three more than a back four with Lindelof in the midfield. I mean, it's on the TV, it's got Pau Torres and Konza as centre-backs with Lindelof in the midfield. It's an interesting one. There'll be a lot of Man United fans out there saying, I told you so. I told you so. Lindelof in the midfield was something that United fans used to talk about all the time. And Mike says he's actually been playing in the midfield for the last few games. So Man United fans will feel very justified by that. Because they used to say about Lindelof. I remember you saying Villa wouldn't finish top four, says Adrian. I don't remember saying that. But if I did, they've done fantastically well. Devo says, ask your boss Neville to appreciate United a bit. Oh, grow up, mate. I suppose you think you're a comedian, don't you? FREIBURG has been misspelled. What? Where is this madness? Where's it been missold? FREIBURG. Oh, yeah, it's been missold on the... Yeah, but that's coming in from the official Opta app. So I can't change that. We've got it right on here, but yeah, you're right. It's AI. It's EI, not IE. Anyway, let's go. We're about to kick off here. Villa playing in white, FREIBURG playing in red, and away we go. Look, what I will say is Bundesliga football isn't boring. It's fast-paced, and we should get a good game of football. So yeah, keep an eye out. Players to watch for FREIBURG, Mark. I would say Manzambi, number 44. is a good technical player. They've got an Italian Grifo, plays on the left wing, is good as well. Lienhart and Ginter, centre-backs, are very good. So, yeah, they'd be the 4 sort of players I'd keep an eye on if I were you. I mean, Grifo has played for the Italian national team. He's 33 now. Won't be playing in the World Cup. What can you tell us about Manzambi? Only 20 years of age. I mean, this happens a lot in the Bundesliga as well. They definitely get into blooding their youth. He's Swiss. I don't know whether he's been picked for the World Cup squad. But a very, very energetic player, number 44. And at 6 foot, he's quite physical for a number 10 as well. But only 20. He has got 10 Swiss caps. But I don't know whether he got picked for the Swiss World Cup squad. Alongside... I think he has been named in the World Cup squad. I'm just having a look here. There's also room for one of the country's brightest young talents in Manzambi. Yeah, so keep an eye out for him. Goal! Oh, God, nearly a goal for Bournemouth. For Villa. What are Bournemouth doing in the Europa League final? They played last night. Morgan Rogers got his shot there, and it was a good one. And the keeper did well. Mark, went to see you team play on Monday. It was good crack. Gold Devils played very solid and controlled football. All the other games were chaos. Well done on the victory, man, says R2 Comedy. Hopefully we'll be back next season winning it. Very good first season for Gold Devils, and it's only just the start. Watkins looks offside there. And he was offside, yeah. Thank you very much for turning up, though, R2 Comedy. Thoughts on Southampton being punted from the playoff final? I want to run a poll on this, actually. And before you vote, let me just say this. Should Southampton get booted from the playoffs? Because before I do the poll, Southampton have been booted out of the playoffs, right? And they've been given a 4-point deduction for next season. And everybody says, well, cheats never prosper. But you know what? If you're a fan of Southampton or a player of Southampton or the chairman of Southampton, you probably had no idea that was going on. You certainly didn't know if you're a player or a fan. That's a decision that's been made by the manager and his scouts. And the whole city of Southampton, the whole fan base, the whole team suffer because of that. I think that's acceptable. If you cheat, you cheat. But I'm not so sure. I was listening to their chairman, and I agree. I don't think the punishment fits the crime. I think somebody turning up at 3 games and, you know, watching them train is a very big leap to saying you can't be promoted. And especially when there is previous of other clubs doing it. I think it might be a little bit harsh the longer I move away from it. But I'm very good at that. I'm very good at changing my mind. I'm very good at putting myself in the feet of the heads of the other party, the other side. I think it's harsh. I think it's too harsh, and I just don't think watching somebody's training from afar constitutes being thrown out of a competition where there was 46 games. I just don't. I think it's a harsh punishment. And yeah, I agree with Tib that harsh punishments make people behave themselves. But I was thinking about it today. Do you not think that when a player for Team A is training, he isn't telling other people what they trained, what formation they played? I mean, we've had it at United where the team news comes out 48 hours before. This information is not, you know, top secret. It's training. it's bloody training. It's a formation. I mean, look, if you play Man United, you know exactly what formation we're going to play. I think people are acting like it's the crown jewels. It's just bloody formation, isn't it? Ooh, I watched Middlesbrough train. Ooh, they're playing a back five. Oh, I'm definitely going to beat them now. I think there needs to be a punishment, but I think Southampton could lose out on 200 million quid. I think the punishment's too big. I know I'm in the minority, but I can only be honest. I think the punishment is too big. I really do. And if that was my team, I'd be losing it big time. And I think if it was your team, you'd be losing it. I think it's a very easy thing to sit there and say, well, cheating's cheating, boot them out. But if it was your team, I don't think you'd be sat there saying it's fair. And that's my stance on it. Thoughts on... so that's my thoughts on it, reverse. Thank you very much. I remember you saying, I've done that one. Thank you very much. Okay, we've had 6 minutes here. Good start by Villa. Definitely looking like the better team. But 0-0 at the moment. Emery is the master of the Europa League. Answers in the chat. How many times has he won the Europa League? Who's that big lad up front? Mantanovic, who is obviously Croatian. I don't think he plays for the national team. I don't think he got called up to the World Cup squad, but someone in the chat might be able to tell me that. Sonic says Southampton didn't win any of the games they spied on. Punishment way too harsh. Don't necessarily agree with that, though, because maybe they drew one of those games and the opposition could say, well, we would have won. He's won 4 Europa Leagues, Emery. BBB says, did you see the videos of the Arsenal players at the Emirates at 5 a.m? You know what? Isn't football brilliant? Like, so many people are crying about Arsenal winning the league. I love football. I was doing a little bit of a thing with the Bundesliga today. A little bit of like, what do they call it? You know, I was on like a webcam talking to a load of people in the Bundesliga about the season we've had with them and talking about YouTube and everything like that. And somebody said to me, what do you think about Arsenal? And I said, well, look, I've been doing that's football for years. I wouldn't be able to do that's football if I hated other teams. If I just was like I love football. So, you know, and I think a lot of people are like that. We have our teams, but we also have the ability to watch other football, which is exactly what we're doing here. And I look at the Arsenal, I just think that's incredible. And if, look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in central London and there's thousands and thousands of people celebrating on a Tuesday night. And I just think, you know what? Those moments are incredible. And deep down, I think anyone who's moaning is jealous of it. I'm jealous of it. I'm jealous of the fact that they've won a league title and thousands of them are on the street having a party like that. I just think it was great. I think it was brilliant. Shot from distance there. Morgan Rogers again. Wasn't too far off. Yeah, I hope it can happen with United. I really do. Might be a long way off, but there we go. Oh, I'm not digesting Arsenal's style of football. I'm just saying I thought the celebrations were incredible. I'm not going to begrudge them that. PS4 says, did you see Saka and the players outside at 5 a.m? I think I've literally just been asked that about Declan Rice, which got me talking about it. Reverse Cloud says, for me, the one that's most disadvantaged are Hull. Have had their opponents changed on 4 days' notice. Will have to completely change their plans. And they still could be playing Southampton, couldn't they? I mean, aren't Southampton appealing it as well? I think they're still saying one game will kick off at one time and one game will kick off. They'll probably end up playing both of them at the moment. Then it really is harsh on Hull. Yeah, this would be Emery's 5th Europa crown if he wins tonight. Good start by Villa, though. FREIBURG definitely the more defensive team in the first few minutes as the cross comes in. Look at the crowd, though, FREIBURG. That's what you get in the Bundesliga every year. Behind the FREIBURG goal, you'll see the flags and the atmosphere. I'm calling it FREIBURG. Actually, it's FREIBURG, isn't it? Is City still going to win the league next season? Says AFC Iron. I'm not making that prediction anymore. My prediction was that City would win the league next year if Pep was staying. I think the progress that team's made as a new team has been very good this season. Ultimately, they've fallen short, which it was probably about right. But I think next season, if they'd kept Pep, they would have had a very good chance of winning it a season on with new signings as well. But I'm not predicting they're going to win the league now. I'd say, if I had to predict anybody, I'd say Arsenal. Yeah. Keel Robinson says, such a low IQ thing to do from Southampton. They deserve it. Thank you, mate. Irish Ryan says, Birmingham will be popping if Villa win tonight. First thing of major significance they've won since '82. I remember there was an England game. I don't know whether it's like it now. I used to go out there. There's a street called Broad Street in Birmingham. And it's got loads. Hold on a minute. Watkins down the wing, cuts it back, and that'll be cleared away. There's a street called Broad Street in Birmingham city centre, which it's got all your pubs and clubs on it. You know, Lloyd's, Reflex, Walkabout. It's well known, and I can't remember what tournament it was. It might have been a Euros tournament. It went off, massive fighting. England won a game, and there was huge fighting on Broad Street. Between Villa and Blues fans. So, you know, quite a rival. Apparently Broad Street is still a thing. Says Mikey, still goes in from Wolverhampton. Many years ago, I used to be every Friday night in Reflex for about 18 months. I used to love Reflex. It's like an 80s bar. I've not been into Reflex for about 20 years. I loved the concept of it. Yeah. There's a bar on Broad Street right on the canal. Is it the Malt House or something like that? No, it's not. It's on Broad Street. You walk past it to go down to the canal. I've watched a few United games in there. There used to be a club called Brannigan's up at the top of Broad Street. Massive. Used to go and watch England games there. It was brilliant. You get like 500 people in there watching an England game. Fantastic. Sam says, have you heard from Robbie? I spoke to Robbie this morning. Didn't get into bed till about 5 o'clock. We were meant to be doing our show for DR Sports. Obviously, that's been cancelled. I think we're doing it tomorrow now. I said to him, mate, go and bloody enjoy it. Forget filming, just enjoy it. Sometimes you've got to be selfish. 22 years since you've won a league title. There's Manzambi there. Strong, isn't he? He is my player to watch for Freiburg. Number 44. Could be another export from the Bundesliga at some point. Only 20 years of age. He's going to work the World Cup with Switzerland. I mean, it's useful watching these. I've been saying this about our Bundesliga footage all season. It's useful to watch another league because when the World Cup comes around, there's going to be a few players where we go, oh, I know him. Sano will be there. Yellow card there for Bendia. Fajita didn't get picked from St. Pauli. I mean, they did get relegated. Brannigan's beef and mustard flavoured crisps, says Big Z. They were nice as well. There's a Freiburg player down here, and Bendia did get booked for it, but I think they're trying to say there might have been a stray elbow. It didn't look anything bad at all there, but he's on a yellow card. Those sort of things can ruin a final, so he needs to be disciplined now. Are you doing the Conference League final next Wednesday? No. I think I stop at that. I didn't do the Chelsea one last year. So Freiburg with a chance to whack a cross into the box here. Cheap yellow cards, says Kevin Carter. It's definitely on the edge, this Europa League final in Istanbul. It's a good cross. Edge of the box. Ooh, it's just gone wide. He's given a goal kick. A little bit of a warning to Villa there. VX says, is there anyone at Freiburg who you'd like at Man United? Not really. As I say, that Manzambi looks like a good player. But I wouldn't say there's anyone that stands out as a player. If Villa win this, should they focus solely on the league next year or try and go for it with more signings in the summer? They can do it, says Irish Ryan. Look, I think United are in the similar position themselves. Villa will be in the position as well. You look at what's happened with Chelsea and Newcastle and Spurs. And Crystal Palace, I suppose. European football can really mess your Premier League season up. So I think, United, Villa next season, you've got to try and build squads, haven't you? Because it's definitely enjoyable. I mean, Spurs and Newcastle had some fantastic nights in the Champions League, but they won't be in Europe at all next season, will they? And you don't want to be that yo-yo of one season you're in the top 5 and not in the Champions League. The next season you're in the Champions League and you're outside the top 5. So that's the challenge. Apparently I did do the Chelsea game last year. I'm not bloody doing Crystal Palace against whoever. I mean, I might change my mind. You never know with me, but I wasn't planning on doing it. Westmeath are Leinster champions, says Brian Dale. Well done. Did you see the Arsenal player get his bum out and then Sky played it back in slow-mo, says Radical. I don't know which Arsenal player it was because I was at Baller League, but I did get a few images sent to me from people laughing. Yeah. Langford says, with City losing Pep, how open will the league be next season, and do you think Villa could mount a title charge? Well, I think it's a bit of an insult and disrespectful to Arsenal to think that just because Pep's going to retire or leave, the league will be open. I mean, let's not forget, Arsenal are top of the league, and all right, Man City are quite close to them, but behind Arsenal, it is a 14-point gap. That's not an open Premier League, is it? I mean, if Man City drop off, you still need Arsenal to drop off. So, it could be a one-horse race next season. And that, I don't think Arsenal could be even better next year. I mean, Arsenal with confidence could go up a year. Now they've actually won it and they're not dealing with that mental block. It could be, Arsenal will be firm favourites, I think. And let's not forget, Arsenal are going to go and buy players, aren't they? They will go and buy players. I mean, look. What if Arsenal? I mean, I could give Arsenal 2 players. I could say to Arsenal, you're only buying these 2 players, and they'd be bloody brilliant. Alvarez and Tonali. James says, I think the Arsenal player was feeling a bit cheeky. Thoughts on Garnacho's future under Xabi Alonso, says Bacon. I mean, honestly, it ain't my problem. I mean, that Garnacho to Chelsea. Oh, there's another foul here. Matty Cash can't believe it. And he's going to get booked. I tell you what, Villa need to be very careful with this ref. He's very card happy. He should be working for Clinton's. Oh, I mean, he did follow through, but he won the ball. I mean, what is Matty Cash supposed to do there? I mean, what's he supposed to do? Kick the ball and move his leg away? I mean, he gets the ball, they both go for it, and he catches the player afterwards. I mean, I don't know. You can give a foul, but not a yellow. Thoughts? Anyway, talking about Garnacho, Bacon. Couldn't have gone any better for Man United. I mean, a year ago to the day, he does an interview after the Europa League final, basically slagging off the club. Booted out the club. Wears a Villa shirt with Rashford on the back. Gets his dream move to Chelsea and spends more time on the bench. So, from a United point of view, we've got £40 million for an absolute flop. Taking off my Man United glasses for a moment. What did Chelsea do with Garnacho? I think he's got worse in the year he's been at Chelsea. I did think he might grow up a little bit and find some consistency. He seems to have got worse than he was at United. So, I mean, he was on the fringes of the Argentinian squad at United. He's nowhere bloody near it now, is he? So, I don't know. Do Chelsea double down and try and make it work? Or do you loan him out? Mozza says, Poll on Conference League final watch-along. Who do you think you are, Nigel Farage? You're not in control, mate. We're not doing a bloody... This ain't a bloody power to the people stream. If I decide I don't want to do the Conference League final, I don't do the Conference League final. I don't think I'm doing the Conference League final. If I'm bored next week, I might do it. But the way I'm feeling at the moment is... I don't feel like it. And I already know my World Cup. Oh, I mean, I'm excited about the World Cup, but that is... yeah, I'm sure it's the same for all of you. I'm sort of like... I'm telling like friends and family that basically I'll see you in August. Don't bother trying to arrange anything in June and July. It's my auntie's 70th. I'm not going. She's my godmother. I'm not going. She said why. I said because Japan are playing Austria. Family barbecues. Shove it up your arse. Uzbekistan are playing. Wedding anniversary. We're not doing it. Scotland against Haiti. No, I'm bedding in for the World Cup. In fact, I'm thinking about getting a little camping bed here. So in between games, I can actually just have a little couple of hours. And I'm seriously have thought about getting a little... There's just about enough room. Don't ask me why I've got a tape measure so close. But how long is a standard bed? Because I reckon I could get a bed in here. What do we got? Why is there a line next to 8 inches? Okay, I've got a good... Oh, I'd get a bed there. I've got 8 foot of space. And I'd get about 3.5 foot. 8 foot by 3.5 foot. Get a single bed in there. Little camp bed. Get a little mini fridge in. Kettle. Get a beer fridge. I might just live in here for a month. Someone said, are you going to do any commentary? You really don't understand the Goldbridge watch-alongs, do you? It's not been the best game. It's got high stakes, but it's not been the best game. Reminds me a little bit of United Spurs last year. That was a shit final. That was a shit final. Ashish says, I've got a shocking stat for you. United have lost no games in which Delo has started. Oh, I know, mate. I know this. You know what I was thinking about? How to the irrelevant like Man City when Rodri played didn't lose games, and then when he didn't play they did. That I get. Right, Man City without Rodri lose games. Man City with Rodri win games. I get that because Rodri's important. Man United don't lose games when Delo starts. It's just coincidence. It's like saying, I haven't had a crash in my car when I've had the shopping from Tesco in the boot. Yeah? Or it never rains when I go out in my blue shorts. Like, there's no logic to Delo being the reason that we don't lose games. Absolutely none. If you ever got asked by Anton Deck, would you do I'm a Celebrity or no? I don't think Anton Deck do the scouting for I'm a Celebrity. Imagine that. Hello, Mark. It's Anton Deck. Will you be going on I'm a Celebrity with us? Yeah, we'll give you £1 million, man. Yeah, I don't think they scout, and I will never do reality TV. No, I mean, there'd have to be a very big check to make me think about it, and even then I know I wouldn't do it because I can't do things like that. It's my weakness. I can't do... If I go on holiday for 2 weeks, I get depressed. I can't. I could be in the best hotel in the world and I get depressed. I can't do long things doing the same thing every day. My brain just doesn't work like that. Worried about Man United next season, says Winner. No. I enjoy the summer transfer window. I get very optimistic, like I'm sure most of you do. I love the summer transfer window. You go into it full of optimism, and then on August the 31st, you're absolutely pissed off. But it's the hope that excites me. Abdi says you could set it up in your garden and watch the World Cup. Yeah, if you lived in like Mallorca or LA, that'd be a great idea. But living in the UK, I'll get electrocuted from the rain. Although it is meant to be hot this summer. Are you doing any watch-alongs with the overlap gang, says Tony? I mean, I'm not speaking out of turn here. It's not exclusive news, but most of the overlap gang will be working for mainstream outlets, commentating, won't they? I mean, I think Roy Keane, Ian Wright, and Gary Neville are all ITV. I don't know what Carragher does. He might be doing something American. I don't know. Carragher doesn't do BBC or ITV, does he? Wonder what. I'm sure he'd be going out. He does Galazzo, doesn't he? CBS. Have you applied for the Fox Sports job? Says Maliki. No. Beth wanted to do it, but I said to her, I think it's a shit job. Sitting in a room watching the games. Well, we're all going to do that. Everybody does watch-alongs now, though, don't they? We've created a... I don't know, have we created a monster or... It's definitely a saturated market. But I've got a new idea. And only I know it. It's a new, unique way of watching football. We invented the watch-along. I've got a new idea. Are you doing a watch-along for all the games on Sunday? I am, but I don't know what to do because United, Brighton... I'll be doing that, but I want to do something that's on That's Football as well. Talk Shit have been trying it for about 2 years. They just copy everybody. Imagine Mark on Inside would be cinema, says Irish Ryan. And Dino says, if Arsenal spend money on Alvarez in the summer, do you think Gyökeres's position is under threat and he would leave in the summer for regular gameplay? No, I think at Arsenal you have to accept that there will be rotation. Ashish says, Delo's influence on United losing games is the same as my influence on United winning games. 0. Thank you very much for your super chats. I don't think I did yours, Mike. Oh, no, I did do yours. Yours was Anton Det. With all the things Arsenal have done, they've not had a red card all year, says Radical. Yeah, but I think that's just a coincidence. I mean, to step forward and say that there's some conspiracy for Arsenal to win the league, I find it a little bit hypocritical because everybody said that about Man City for years and how they crowd the ref and get away with it. So what we now, we can't just say every team that wins the league is winning it because the PGMOL are deciding it. Can you go live on 2 streams at once? I think I can. I just need to figure it out. Mark Flash Alexander says, I'm really upset that Elliot Anderson has chosen City. Not chosen City yet. It ain't over till it's over. So, 0-0 here. Villa had a couple of chances, but it's been definitely... Ooh, that's a handball. Unless it's the referee from the United game. Both cancelling each other out. Is it true Jose needs Delo for Madrid? He does. Well, I don't know whether it's true, Nets, but it could happen. If England win the World Cup, should Rice get the Ballon d'Or, says Liam. How's he let that foul go on Villa? But if Villa did it, he'd have given him a yellow card. Come on, Villa. Would Declan Rice win the Ballon d'Or? There seems to be this belief that if you win the Champions League, your domestic league and the World Cup, it's got to be a player from that for the Ballon d'Or. Manzambi with the shot. Not bad, but Martinez deals with it quite easily. Do you think Sky will do multi-screen on Sunday? They are showing every game, so I would hope so. Harry Kane could win it. I think if England win the World Cup, Harry Kane could win it. Good interception here by Watkins. Needs to pass. Needs to pass. Pass, pass, pass! Why won't you pass? They're all saying to Watkins, why won't you pass? He should have passed there. Yeah, I mean, look, if England was... There he is, Harry Kane. My Harry Kane shirt that I got from the Bundesliga. If Harry Kane won the World Cup and the Golden Boot at the World Cup, and then he's won the Bundesliga and the European Golden Boot, I think he'd win the Ballon d'Or over Rice. Jabbar says that Portugal will win the World Cup. Portugal probably could win the World Cup if it wasn't for your coach. Manzambi's gone down here after being fouled by Lindelof. I don't know why he's holding that leg. It didn't seem to do much at all there from Lindelof. But, I think he's caught his knee. House of the Dragons coming on June the 22nd. Has anyone told them about the World Cup? You don't want to be releasing a TV series in June or July. You really do not want to be doing that. Villa have been pretty poor, says PM. They need a bit of a kick up the bum in the half-time talk. No doubt about that. Yeah, Premier League predictions comes to an end on Friday. Me and Robbie have been doing it all season, every Friday morning, Premier League predictions. Going into the final week, well, going into this last weekend, there was a 6-point gap for me. We'll find out what it is on Friday. But remember, the forfeit for that, which was set by you, was quite a big one. And I don't think Robbie has realised the enormity of what he's going to have to do. And if he doesn't do it, he needs calling out. I mean, look, he might do a major turnaround on the final day. But the agreement was the loser would go to the opposition ground and wear the new kit for the new season. So as things stand, Robbie will be going to Old Trafford in a Man United kit. Watkins, you got space. Turn. Wait for Bendia. Bendia. McGinn. Blocked. They've still got it. Cross is wild there. Don't. One of my gran always used to say, rest in peace, never, ever do a bet with me where I've got to wear an Arsenal kit if I lose, because you'll lose. And she was right. KSI tried it, ended up in a Spurs kit. Robbie's tried it, it's going to end up in a United kit. Ben says, do you think Arsenal should sell Odegaard in the summer? Also, should they try and sign Barcola? Love all the content. Keep it up. I think they should sell Martinelli and buy a left winger. I think Trossard works well as a winger, but I don't think he's first choice, although Arteta does love him. But I think Arsenal with a top-class left winger, that would be an area of improvement. I think Madueke's done well down the right-hand side, and you've got Saka, but I think they do need a left winger. The scary thing about Arsenal is you can see areas they can improve. Freiburg with a chance to attack here. Not to be political, but do you think Starmer will resign, says Snoopy? Not to be political, but I've not really got any thoughts on it. I know a lot of people want him to resign, but I'm not 100% sure what it's all about because I don't really keep an eye on politics. Here's Manzambi. He's had a good run here. He's done really well there, but no one gets on the end of it. He has been the standout player for them. Only 20 years of age, Swiss international. He's going to the World Cup. Manzambi, number 44 for Freiburg. And he's looked impressive, hasn't he? Hi, Mark. Do we know what World Cup games you were doing, says Levi. Yes, we do. I can read the first few out if you want at half-time. Keel says, what about when Agate starts and we lose? And Andrew says, you missed my first super chat. I didn't. It was just boring. I'll go and do it now. Are the PGMOL controlled by the FA? Says United 777. I think the PGMOL is the Premier League. And I did look at it before, but I think they do have something to do with the Premier League. I think they might be governed by the Premier League. AMC says, I disagree. I believe Delo is the reason, not because he's some world-class player, but because Mazraoui is much worse than Delo. Oh, you're talking out your arse. What's your dream World Cup final as a spectator, says Junga. I don't really know. I don't think I could give you the dream World Cup final at the moment because I need to see what the international teams are like. I mean, I'd like to see, France, Spain would be good, but obviously I'd like to see England, France. Corner here to Villa. Who was worse, Nunez or Garnacho? Darwin Nunez or Garnacho? That is quite interesting because Garnacho was quite decent for a while. Andrew says, Mark, Arsenal ain't winning it again next season and you know it. I dare you in predictions to say them. You know their style is not sustainable and you know, like I do as a United fan, the hardest is going back to back. I mean, look, let's see what happens with this corner for Villa. In it comes. That's not got a good... Oh, Tielemans! Oh, what a goal! What a goal in a final for Aston Villa. UTV. Tielemans with an absolute banger. I didn't think it was a very good cross, but it was straight from the training ground because as a cross into the box, it wasn't great. But it's where they've put that cross. Morgan Rogers into Tielemans. What a hit, my son. And Tielemans has scored a huge goal here. And it's felt like one of those games. It's felt like one of those games, hasn't it? It felt like it was sort of like going to need something. What a goal. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. In a cup final as well. Morgan Rogers tees this up with absolute accuracy and dip. And then the technique from Tielemans, you don't save those. In a Europa League final as well. That's a cracker. That is an absolute cracker. Keeper cannot be expected to save that. He'll be buzzing his tits off. He'll be absolutely loving that. Right before half-time as well. There you go. And I tell you what, for every Villa fan watching at home or every Villa fan who's out in Istanbul or in the bars around the world or in Turkey, you're going to be absolutely loving a goal like that. Reminds me of Joe Cole against Sweden. Was it the World Cup or Euros? I was in a bar in Mallorca. Lovely volley. Tielemans is a very good player. I mean, look. Villa, you talk about next season for Villa. Tielemans has been brilliant for them. Kamara is brilliant for them. Obviously, he's missed half a season. Collins has been very good. Obviously, you've got McGinn, Rodgers. They've had a very good season. Just going back to what Andrew said about Arsenal next season. I don't know. I mean, I think Arteta may need to change the style of play because I do agree with you, Andrew. I think the way that they've played is very, very taxing mentally. They, there's a lot of concentration that goes into that, but they may be able to do it again. Is Prince William in the stands, says VX? I would have thought he would be. I haven't seen any camera footage yet, but I would have thought he would be there. Form says Alonso allegedly wants to buy Pacho, Vitinha, Romero and Mbappe and get rid of Sanchez, Enzo, Garnacho and Pedro. Well, he's not getting any of them, is he? They're not going to be in Europe, mate. He's not. Alonso's better get a little bit more realistic. I'm thinking Igor Thiago. Yeah. Maybe that Mane from Wolves. I don't see Chelsea bringing in big players this summer because they haven't got a lot to offer. Jack says that Prince William is there. That goal sizzles in a pan. Banger, says Lee Berman. Should Havertz have been sent off, says Gav. I mean, I don't really want to go back there, but I don't think he should have been sent off. I think, Bruno against Liverpool on Szoboszlai was similar. Dalot against Man City was similar. I think there's been a bit of inconsistency on those sort of tackles this season. I think a couple of years ago you got a red card for that. I'm thinking Curtis Jones at Spurs. Gusto for Chelsea. But I think this season they've been a bit inconsistent on them. What I'm saying, not every tackle like that gets a red card. Corner to FREIBURG. It's not. Why are we looking at this? It's not a handball. It hits him on the chest. We saw it on the first one. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. I forgot to say this because we are very close to 1.475. We're only 100 subscribers away from 475,000. So please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. 3 minutes of injury time in the first half here. And Villa are breaking away again with Tielemans. Gets it out to Buendia. Puts the cross in. Side netting McGinn. And he has given the corner. Yeah, we're only 100 subscribers away from 475,000 on the road to 1.5 million. Please get involved with That's Football. You are all welcome. Big summer ahead. We've got the final day of the Premier League on Sunday. We've got the Champions League the following weekend. World Cup. Daily transfer news. You're all very welcome on That's Football. Thank you for being part of the conversation. Please win Freiburg. I don't want Liverpool in the Champions League. Yeah, nothing's going to stop that, mate, because Liverpool are definitely going to finish 5th. And 5th place is Champions League anyway. Top 5 is definitely Champions League in the Premier League. Villa don't control that. Another corner to Villa. Josh says, hi Mark, ecstatic Arsenal fan here. I think next season Premier League title will be between Arsenal and Man United, says 2Wizzy. Well, I like your prediction. I'm not convinced United are equipped to deal with Premier League and Champions League football at the same time with the squad that we've got. So we'd need a very good World Cup, very good transfer window. But I hope you're right, mate. Which right back would want for United to replace Dalot? I mean, can I just get my massive list of right backs that are better than Dalot? But realistically, I mean, I'd love Hakimi. But, you know, I mean, I don't think he's leaving, but Livramento at Newcastle is a good right back. I don't think, you know, Ryerson at Dortmund would be worth a punt, I think. I know he's 28, but I do think he'd be worth a punt. To be honest, I don't. There's loads of left backs I want. Right backs, I just know we're not going to sign one, so I just haven't probably wasted any time. Villa are still on the attack here. Tielemans goes wide. Loads of time for McGinn. He attacks the box. Little dink to the back post. Konza! And he probably should have done better. Free header on the back post, and he just didn't direct it. Who do you think will win the Conference League and the Champions League, says Cameron? I think Arsenal against PSG is going to be a lot closer than people think. I do think PSG are favourites, and I'll probably say PSG. Oh, what a goal, Bendia! That's it! That's probably it. It's another banger. Oh, my God. Get him in the Olympics. Curling. Gold medal. Bendia. He's curled it into the top corner from the edge of the box. And Villa have turned this final on its head in the last 5 minutes of the half. They lead 2-0 against Freiburg, and I would probably say there's no way back. Absolutely brilliant goal. Poor marking. He's on the edge of the box. Oh, it's a great goal. It's a great goal. He's got so much space on the edge of the box, on his left foot. Curler, you don't save those. Keeper's at full stretch, and he can't get anywhere near it. Right in the top corner. Freiburg have just gone to sleep here a little bit on half-time. And Villa are now in dreamland. 2-0 up at half-time. And 2 absolutely cracking goals for Villa. And right on half-time, it is half-time. It's 2-0 to Villa. And you would say that that is going to be very difficult for Freiburg to get back now. What are your thoughts on that, you? Up the Villa. Come on, Villa. Yeah, I want Villa to win this. I know I live in and around the Midlands. I'm probably equidistant between Coventry and Villa, really. But a lot of my mates are Villa fans. So I know a few of them gone out to Istanbul. And I think Villa are a very inoffensive team, I think, to United fans and Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans and Chelsea fans and Man City fans. I don't think there's anybody out there, apart from Birmingham City fans, who don't want Villa to do well. It's one of the rare occasions where I probably do want the Premier League team to win the European trophy, to be fair. Yeah. Will 6th place be a Champions League spot if Villa win? No, they've got to be in... If Villa finish 5th, we will get a 6th spot. But if they finish 4th, we won't. I don't understand why. But yeah, Villa have to finish 5th for the 6th spot to become a Champions League spot. So if Villa lose to City on Sunday, which they probably will, because they'll be all hungover from this, and Liverpool beat Brentford, then Villa in 5th and 6th becomes Champions League for Bournemouth. Congratulations to Lindelof, says JBS. Arsenal won the league without having 115 charges, says OGC. And Vasco says, do you think Maresca will do any good at City? I think he is a good manager with potential. I'd like to see what he's capable of. I mean, look, he's going to get everything he needs to be successful. He's going to be at a club that wants to be successful. He's going to inherit a squad that can be successful. And he's going to get a summer transfer window to help him be successful. So I think everything's there for Maresca to do well. And I do think he was doing well at Chelsea. I thought Chelsea were playing good football up until he got the sack. So, you know, do I think he's the right manager? I did think they might go for someone like Vincent Kompany or Luis Enrique, but you know, Maresca they seem to be set on from a very early stage. Hayden says more realistic for Chelsea and Alonso is Ruben Ruiz, Osman Diamonde from Sporting, Lacroix, and Morgan Rogers. There we go. Appreciate your super chats. Benjamin says conditions at the top of the Premier League are similar to the season before the Leicester miracle. No one would celebrate Spurs going from near relegation to champions. I don't think Spurs are going to go to champions next season somehow. What's this? Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight? Oh, it's a game. At least this transfer window, United will be able to get Champions League players, says Cal. And there we go. Thank you very much for your super chat. Right, we have got nearly 16,000 people watching. Absolute legends. Villa are 2-0 up in this Europa League final in Istanbul. It was a little bit of a drab affair. I would say Villa were on top, but Freiburg were doing okay. One player that stood out for them is Manzambi, but he can't do it all on his own. Villa in the ascendancy now, and all comes down to two fantastic goals from Tielemans from a corner, and then Bendia with a brilliant curler into the top corner a few minutes after that, leading 2-0. You really would think that that's going to be enough for Villa, who, look, statistically, nearly 60% possession, 9 shots to 3, 3 on target to 1, 4 corners to 1, more passes, more accuracy. Yeah, I mean, it's Villa's to win now, isn't it? And Freiburg are going to have to come out and have a go, which I'm sure they will do, but Villa on the counter should be in a good position now. And also, I mean, 2 absolute bangers in a final for Villa. I mean, that's going to be a DVD if people buy DVDs anymore. But a memorable night in the making for Villa fans. 2 absolutely brilliant goals, 2-0 up in the Europa League final. Unai Emery going for his 5th Europa League final title. And Villa, who have already qualified for the Champions League anyway, because they will be in the top 5 in the Premier League, can qualify again and win a trophy through the Europa League. I tell you what, though, I don't think we know who's going to be in the Europa League for the Premier League next season. I don't know how low it goes. I don't know. Has anybody actually qualified for the Europa League yet? Because Man City won the FA Cup, but they're in the Champions League, so that'll go to a league spot. Carabao Cup winners, do they go in the Europa League, or does that go to the league spot as well? But that was Man City. I don't know how many teams we have in the Europa League. We had Forest and Villa this time, so I'm thinking at the moment it's 6th and 7th, which would be Bournemouth and Brighton. Chelsea can still do it themselves. Win at Sunderland, and Man United stop Brighton, and they could go to 7th. So I think Chelsea will go all out to try and get in the Europa League. Look, if it, I think what's happened with the Europa League is that because the Champions League is so big now, the Premier League has such depth. No other league in Europe has the depth that the Premier League does. La Liga doesn't. Germany doesn't. Italy doesn't. So by the time you've put 4 or 5 teams in from the top leagues, you end up in the Europa League with teams that have finished 5th and 6th and 7th. And our teams that have finished 5th and 6th and 7th are a lot stronger than the teams that finish 5th and 6th and 7th in other leagues. So I think that I like the new Champions League format, but you might find that the Premier League is going to dominate the Europa League and the Conference League every year, because there's just not the quality in there from other teams because they're all playing in the Champions League now. Do you think Palace will beat Vallecano, says Cameron? Yeah. Yeah. I do. Villa against Forest should be the final. I think it would have been the final. I think it's a great point. I think Villa Forest would have been the final if they hadn't been kept apart. Spurs last year, United. I think the Premier League is going to dominate the Europa League for years to come because we're the only league that's got the depth of talent in it. La Liga is an interesting league, but they don't have the depth beyond their top four, and their top four go into the Champions League, don't they? Yeah. AJD says, what World Cup games are you starting with, Markio? I can tell you now, because we've been working on it a little bit over the last few weeks. I'm still potentially going to go out to the World Cup. Just to... I might still do it. I might fly out for a couple of games. We will see. But our schedule is this for the first few days. So we're going to do loads of watch-alongs. We've got some other content planned as well. It starts on the 11th of June, which is 3 weeks tomorrow. It's going to fly by. This incredibly big World Cup, which I think is going to be an incredible festival of football, starts 3 weeks tomorrow. We will be live at 8 p.m. 3 weeks tomorrow for Mexico against South Africa. Then on Friday night, we'll be live at 8 p.m. for Canada against Bosnia. At 2 a.m. on that early Saturday morning, we'll be watching USA against Paraguay. And then on the Saturday night at 11 p.m, we'll be watching Brazil-Morocco. So that's our first 4 games. But then, after the 11 p.m. game on Saturday night between Brazil and Morocco, that finishes at 1 a.m. We'll stay live for Scotland against Haiti at 2 a.m. So we're covering some of the early hour games as well. So, as I said, I'm thinking about getting a little camp bed there. And I actually do not think that's a bad idea. I think a little camp bed here and a little sleep, I think is a good idea. I've thought about it here. Rogue player to watch for the upcoming World Cup, says Junga. There's a few players. I mean, look, to be fair, Manzambi of Switzerland, who's playing for Freiburg, might be an interesting player. Torre of Hoffenheim, who's playing for Ivory Coast, and Diamonde of Leipzig might be interesting players. Nusa at Norway could be an interesting player as well. I don't think all the World Cup squads have been picked yet, but Sano at Japan, I'd keep an eye out on him. Look, I'm naming Bundesliga players because I've watched a lot of Bundesliga football this year. In the Premier League, look, I think England should take Rio of Liverpool. I think he fits the bill perfectly for an extra attacker that you could just chuck on for 10, 20 minutes and say, go out there and express yourself. Apparently the Germany World Cup squad has been leaked, by the way. The German World Cup squad has been leaked just days before Nagelsmann makes his 26-man announcement. And there are some huge calls. Neuer is coming back. And, well, here's another player to keep an eye on then. I didn't know whether he was going to get picked. Almala at Cologne is another one who could, if he makes his way into the first team, he is one to watch as well. Yeah. Leonard Carl's going as well. Bayern Munich. Sharda. He's looking like he's going from Brentford. I think Germany's an interesting team in the World Cup. I mean, there's a few teams in the World country. There's a few countries in the World Cup that sort of looking forward to. I mean, Colombia and Mexico, I know next to nothing about them. Musiala will go to the World Cup, yeah. I don't know whether Stiller's going. I don't think it's been leaked that he's going, actually. Maybe he's not going. because I can't see anything about him. No, Stiller's not in the squad. Oh, no, he is. Baumann, Neuer, Nubel, Erbig, Anton, Brown, Kimmich, Rahm, Rudiger, Schlotterbeck, and Tar. Bayer, Goretzka, Havertz, Karl, Llewellyn, Enmicha, Pavlovic, Stiller, Undav, Wirtz, Voltemeda. But Almala's not there, though. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, back to the Europa League final. And Villa are leading here 2-0. Will you do any Australian games, Mark? Let me have a look. Yes. We have Australia against the USA on the 19th, which is an 8 o'clock game. And... oh, no, that's Austria, not Argentina. Argentina, Austria. Yeah, we've definitely got one Australian game. We might be doing more. It's just the initial round. Anyway, Anana the GOAT. Oh, sorry. Season ticket holder at Feyenoord here. Sarno is class, says Junga. Yeah, I mean, and there are some players that are missing out on the World Cup when you think about Japan. Mitoma won't make it. Gnabry for Germany, not going to make it. There's somebody else who's not making the World Cup, injured. Let me know in the chat. Who's not going to the World Cup because they're injured? Lopez, Fermin Lopez. Yeah. Rodrigo as well, Brazil. Yeah. Ekatike. De Ligt. Ben White. I mean, some of them aren't great. Estabao isn't going to the World Cup because he's not been picked. Andre Onana, the GOAT of goalkeepers, 100% facts, says Recon Guy. And Baller says it also proves the Bundesliga is the best league at generally handling Premier League intensity, says Baller. Mojo, thanks for being a member for 35 months. Thank you to Junga. Both those goals in one final is absolutely brilliant, says Ashish. Yeah, well, somebody just said, you know, the Bundesliga can't deal with the Premier League. To be fair, those goals are both incredible, aren't they? You've got to give credit where it is due. Do you think Neymar should have been picked for Brazil? Look, I think it adds excitement. You know, are Ronaldo and Messi the same players they were? No. But does it make it exciting? Yes. Tankin says, as an MLS fan, up the galaxy, do you ever see us becoming a legit quality team, maybe even winning a Club World Cup? I do wonder, in a world without barriers, whether the Champions League at some point becomes the you don't even need to change the name of it. You know, does the Champions League start inviting in teams from Brazil, the MLS, maybe Saudi at some point? I don't know. Are you going to do an England World Cup squad reaction on Friday? Any surprises in the squad, do you think? Or wild cards, says Jay. I don't know whether I'd do a reaction to it. Look, if he didn't take Ollie Watkins as the backup striker, or he didn't take Cole Palmer, or he took Luke Shaw instead of O'Reilly and Hall, then I think that would be controversial. But I don't think he's going to do anything mad controversial. I think there might be one or two players that deserve to go that don't go. I think Scott for Bournemouth and Garner for Everton are a little bit unlucky, but I don't think he'll take them. I don't think Jordan Henderson should be going, but I think he will. But I can't really see there being any major controversies. You know, your fullbacks are going to be Reece James, Livramento, Hall and O'Reilly. Your midfield's going to be Anderson, Rice, Bellingham, Mainu, Henderson, probably Wharton, Rodgers, Palmer, Kane, Watkins, and then Rashford, Saka, Gordon, Madueke. And I'd take that Rio instead of Bowen, I would. I know it's harsh on Bowen, but I would take that Rio. I just think, you know, if it's the last 20 minutes of a game, do you want to put Jared Bowen on or do you want to put Rio on from Liverpool? And I'm like, I want to put Rio on from Liverpool. Because in 4 years' time at the next World Cup, he might be playing in the World Cup. You know? Do you think Gibbs-White will go? I think Gibbs-White's a bit like Scott and Garner. I think they're a bit unlucky, but I don't think he'll go. Thoughts on Premier League fans rooting against Premier League teams in European finals? I think it's stupid unless they're considered very close rivals, says Bouncer. I mean, I want Villa to win this, but I never want an English team to win the Champions League final unless it's United. Ooh, God. McGinn. Well, it's not going to be any more than a foul. Which, with this referee, is probably quite lucky. No, it wasn't even that bad, to be fair. Wasn't that bad. They should be taking Gibbs-White or Eze over Palmer. Yeah, as I say, I think Gibbs-White and Eze are a little bit unlucky. Maybe you take Eze instead of Jared Bowen. I wouldn't take Jared Bowen. I like him, but I wouldn't take him. Well done, Martinez. Offside. Do you want Arsenal to win the final? No. No, I don't. I wanted them to win the league. I don't want them to win the Champions League. If they do win the Champions League, I'll say fair play. But I am one of those people that doesn't want other teams to win the Champions League unless it's Man United. Are there any English teams I wouldn't mind winning the Champions League? I wouldn't mind Villa winning it. I'd probably like Brighton or Bournemouth to win it, but none of these teams are likely to win it, are they? But I think it'll be a good final, and if Arsenal beat PSG, fair play. They'll have deserved to win it. And I have said I think it'll be a lot closer than people think. Vinny, says James. Vinny! Vinny! I think Villa will score again in a minute. Here's Watkins. What is he doing? Watkins seems to be having one of those frustrating Ollie Watkins nights where he doesn't want to pass. It's almost like he just wants to score a goal in the final, which, you know, it can be normal. 64% of you said that Southampton deserve to get booted from the playoffs, and 36% say no. Thank you very much. Thank you. Legend says Netherlands are going to win the World Cup. I think England are going to win the World Cup. Cue all the laughing. But if England don't win it, I think it's obviously going to be France or Spain. John Wick says Arsenal is the immovable object against PSG, the unstoppable force. We'll find out who wins. Any update on the Southampton appeal? Nothing. I think it's going to be going on overnight. Inter Miami are in the final stages of a deal to sign Casemiro. What a lovely thing to do. Retire from Premier League football with Man United, having played for Real Madrid, and then go and play for Inter Miami and live in Miami. It sounds absolutely brilliant. What a career. What a career. Have you seen that guy who did the bottle, the plastic bottle against Man City? He's now done another interview now. I'm just watching it here. Congratulating Arsenal. He's saying, I'm a football fan, I travel all over, and you need to understand the word banter. Just take the L, mate. Take the L and move on. I'm sure you'll be back when Man City win the title again. Where's my live chat gone? Thoughts on the... Oh, God. Here we go. England's not winning the World Cup. They bottle finals, remember, says Jesper. Yeah, we've got a different manager now. Thoughts on the Hearts pitch invasion complaint, says Baller. I mean, look. Watkins gets in there, but he flicks it wide from the free kick. What are Hearts complaining for? They're 3-1 down with 50 seconds to go. They're losing that final, haven't they? So, yeah, I mean, I don't think it was great, the pitch invasion, and I don't think their players being attacked is very good at all. But, I mean, you know, what's going to change from it, really? If Villa win tonight, then lose on Sunday, and Liverpool win Sunday, Bournemouth and Brighton can still get Champions League, says Funky. Yeah, but, you know, the problem with that is Liverpool winning. You're exactly right, and I think the final day is going to be all about that, isn't it? Because I can't see Spurs losing to Everton. I mean, there's not a lot for Everton to play for either. Even if Everton win, they can't get into Europe, so I don't think Everton are going to beat Spurs. But, yeah, if Villa win this and then lose to City on Sunday, which they probably will, and then Liverpool beat Brentford, Liverpool go 4th, Villa go to 5th, and therefore 6th, get a Champions League spot, which will be Bournemouth or Brighton. So it's going to be exciting on Sunday because Bournemouth and Brighton are going to be playing with the opportunity to get Champions League football. The problem is expecting Liverpool to beat Brentford, because if Brentford beat Liverpool, they probably put themselves in Europe as well. So it's all going to be about European spots on Sunday. But you know what? That is the flip side of this expanded Europe, because, and I'm not, you know, anti-Brexit, but what I'm talking about is European spots. Because there's so many European spots available in the Premier League now, I think I'm right in saying that down to 9th get into Europe. So because there's so many European spots now, it makes the final day interesting, even if relegation and the title's done. England won World Cup 90+9. Calvert-Lewin screamer, says Jarv, and then you bloody wake up. Sam says, why do you think Pep hasn't confirmed he's leaving? Contractual. Probably wants to announce it on Sunday to the crowd. Corey says, does anyone know if Mark stands for anything? I stand for justice. No, I stand for a stretch. Sometimes I do matches standing up. I need to do it more, but I'm just lazy tonight. Ooh. Yeah, I'm a bit lazy tonight. I've enjoyed doing Baller League, but basically my Baller League Monday it's in London, which London's not even that far from me. It's just where in London it is. I can be in London in an hour and 40, but where Baller League is, which is by the West Ham ground, can take 3.5 hours. So I'm always knackered for the rest of the week because it's a big drive. So that's probably why I'm sitting down. Freiburg are having a go here, but that's going to go for a goal kick. Have we hit 475,000 subscribers? Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're 200 away. Please do subscribe. Get involved with That's Football. Daily content on here. I probably will do a reaction to the World Cup squad. I think that's out on Friday morning for England. Final Premier League predictions of the season will be out with me and Robbie. Sunday, final day of the Premier League. And then we'll be building up towards the Champions League. Lovely play by Villa. Bendia's had a good game. I thought he was going to cut it back. He does. What a goal. That is a great goal again. Villa's goals have been absolutely excellent tonight. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, this is brilliant football. Morgan Rogers this time. Bendia does so well. Holds it up on the wing, puts the cross in. Rogers is there. And I tell you what, it's going to be a night to remember for Villa fans, but it's very rare, unless you're PSG, that you're in a final 3-0 up with half an hour to go and cruising. You can literally enjoy this next half an hour now. The dream final, really. And they're 3-0 up. Rogers, yeah. Rogers getting there before the defender from the cross from Bendia. I think there was a little bit of a deflection on the cross by Bendia. But he knows where he wants to put it. And even without the deflection, I still think it would have got there. Villa against PSG Super Cup. Well, a little bit cheeky, Felix, but it could be Villa-Arsenal Super Cup. Rogers to United. I like Morgan Rogers. I really do. I just think it's not the player that Man United need. I mean, he's not a winger, is he? He's a, you know, he's not a winger. He's a 10. Jamie says, if Bournemouth make the Champions League next season, won't they be unable to play in the Vitality because of the attendance rule or something? I do not know, Jamie. I do not know. It might be a good point. I don't know. What do you do if you're Freiburg? They were underdogs, mate. The 7th best team in the Bundesliga is going to struggle against the top 5 team from the Premier League. Just the same as the 7th best team in La Liga would, or the 7th best team in Italy would. It's a bit of a mismatch so far. But taking nothing away from Villa, Villa or Freiburg, all the goals that Villa have scored would be good enough against anybody. They've been fantastic goals. They made a double substitution here, Freiburg. Don't worry, I'm going to say something. I was just thinking the scenes that we're going to see tonight. I mean, we're being spoilt at the moment. We had all the pictures from London last night with Arsenal. I don't know whether the scenes will be as big on the streets of Birmingham, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of people heading out to Broad Street to celebrate. And this is why we love football, isn't it? This is what... You know what, though? I ain't bitter about it. You know, all those fans for Arsenal last night, all these fans for Villa tonight, this is what, you know, a little reminder to everybody. Third place ain't a trophy. A semi-final ain't a trophy. This is what you work for. This is why you play football. You play to win. These are the rewards you get. I tell you what, there will be a lot of people because there's something called the Utilita Arena in Birmingham, which is doing a live event tonight. There's a few thousand people there who'll be heading out afterwards, and that's right near Broad Street. So they'll be out and about. Where do you think Villa will finish next season in the league? The weird thing with Villa is that they, even when they're successful, they sell players, don't they? Like, who did they sell last year? Jacob Ramsey. Douglas Luiz the year before. They always seem to have to sell players to survive. And what they need to do this summer is buy players and build that squad out, because it's very difficult, as we've seen with Newcastle and Spurs, to operate in the Champions League at a competitive level and do well in the Prem. But the flip side of that is the more teams that are in Europe, the more people are in the same boat. I mean, look, United benefited massively this year because we didn't have any European football at all. Who's going to benefit next season from no Champions League football at all? Chelsea will probably be in Europe of some kind. Liverpool will. Newcastle maybe won't. But Newcastle might get decimated. Newcastle will be an interesting one next year. If they avoid Europe completely, one game a week, Newcastle might do quite well. The frustrating thing with Newcastle is, though, they'll get back into Europe and then they won't have the squad again, so they'll just keep yo-yoing. Sevilla, Villarreal, and now Aston Villa. UEFA should rename it to Unai Emery League. Have you noticed, though, there's something really interesting here? Unai Emery is going to win the Europa League 5 times with 3 different clubs, and they've all got Villa in the name. That's mad. Sevilla, Villarreal, and Aston Villa. That's freaky, isn't it? That is weird. You know, if all the clubs had United in it, you might go, well, there's clubs called United. But to have Villa in the name of every team that he's won the Europa League with, and he's won it with 3 different people, is crazy. I'm going to run a tweet. Somebody just told me that the Southampton appeal has been turned down. Trying to confirm this. David Ornstein. Southampton lose appeal in attempt to overturn expulsion from the Championship playoff for spying on opponents. Southampton spot goes to Middlesbrough to face Hull at Wembley on Saturday. So they've lost their appeal. And somebody said, don't waste breaking like this ever again. Thought this was about Arsenal getting stripped of the title. I still think it's too harsh. I know I'm in the minority, but I think watching another team train is one thing. Kicking them out of a tournament altogether is another. I think maybe it's because I know the football world. I mean, teams know formations and setups of their opposition without having to turn up to their training because they get it from other people. But as Redcastle says, rules are rules. But, you know, spying on opponents makes it sound like it's James Bond. You can find out stuff from other clubs without even turning up. People will leak you information anyway. I think it should have just been a harsh fine. I think being kicked out of a whole 46-game season is too hard. I'd have given them a fine. And look, people say it's a deterrent. Okay, people might not send scouts to spy anymore, but I'm sure they'll be there ringing people up and saying, you were at training today, what were you doing? Like, if people want to find out stuff, they'll find. But also, I don't think the advantage is that big anyway. If I'm coaching a team and somebody finds out my formation before the game, I mean, it's a 90-minute game. They're not going to know everything, are they? But I know I'm in the minority, but like sometimes you just got to be true to yourself. I think the punishment's too big. I really do. Have you ever been to a hockey game? What's your favourite sport outside of football, says Tan? I don't have time for it, mate. I mean, here I am watching a Europa League final, so and the volume of World Cup games I'll watch, I just don't really have time. I watch a bit of NFL when it's on. I do like the NFL. I've got really into it in recent years. I just find it quite a relaxing sport to watch. I do like snooker as well, if I get time to watch it. But another shot from the edge of the box, Matty Cash. Apparently Emery lost the Europa League final, says Maliki. Well, let us know. Thanks for all the comments, by the way. Over 15,000 watching. Please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Villa 3-0 up here and definitely heading towards silverware. And I tell you what, Unai Emery at Aston Villa, probably another manager that I don't understand why Man United didn't approach. I mean, with all due respect to Carrick, you can't look at Emery and go, Carrick's better. The football Villa play is good. It works in Europe and in the Premier League. You know, winning the Europa League and finishing in the top 5 is not easy. Especially when you lose half your midfield for three months. Or all of your midfield for 3 months. There was a point where they had no McGinn, no Tielemans and no Kamara. He's done a very, very good job at Villa. Would Lindelof be a 2-times Europa League champion now, says Kiru. Was he here when we won it against Ajax? God, I'm trying to think how long Lindelof's been at Man United. I think he was at United for 8 years, wasn't he? So he probably did win it against Ajax. Maybe just not. No, he joined afterwards, says Matthew, our producer. No, so he didn't. It'll be his first time. He might have been involved in the final that we lost to Villarreal, but It was Purple Burglar Alarm who said that they should rename the trophy to the Unai Emery League. UEL. Emery ball or Mark's Harden ball, says Jay. Yeah, but Emery's football's good. Like, Villa do play good football. I've never associated Emery with, like, boring football. I think they do play good football. Guna says, I appreciate your hard work this season. I hope you continue covering the Premier League and the Bundesliga next season. I hope so. I mean, I had a meeting with the Bundesliga today, and they said, what could we improve on? I said, give me more games. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but it'd be nice to keep the Friday night games. It is quite funny about Arsenal, though, because there's so many people who literally have just avoided social media and the TV for the last 24 hours. Probably a lot of them Spurs fans. I mean, Spurs, I think you will stay up, Spurs, but I mean, that what reassurance is that? I think Spurs will stay up, but it's it'll be a nervy day on Sunday. I mean, they should stay up because they should beat Everton, really. Rocky 3 was released when Villa last won a European Cup. I mean, look, Darren, that's like, what? 46 years ago? 45 years ago? 44 years ago? Will there be a Premier League predictions with DR, says Andrew. Yep, on a Friday as normal. They should let Champions League teams drop to the Europa, says here. I don't think they should, but I think they might do because nobody can compete with the Premier League teams in the Europa League. So they might do it to allow teams to drop down. But then again, I still don't think the teams that drop down would compete with the Premier League sides. I mean, it would be people who lose the playoff, wouldn't it? Well, who lost the playoffs that would beat Aston Villa? John Smith says the one-touch football from Villa is outstanding. They've played really well, Villa. Since they got the goal, they've played really well. This would be a great goal. Oh, how's he missed that? Ben Dia should be subbed off for that because that move from back to front by Villa was incredible. He got slipped in and he's missed it. You can't believe it. I don't think Benfica would have beaten Villa. Look at this football here. Tillemans into Bendia. He should have took it first time. Watkins wanted the pass, but I don't think the pass was ever going to that. Would have been a very, very good goal. Villa have won the Champions League more than Arsenal. Well, give it a couple of weeks. Mr. El-Shamari says, I don't care who they are. Whenever English teams play in Europe, I want them to win. So come on, Villa, Palace and PSG. Slotball says Southampton's appeal's been dismissed. Yeah, we were speaking about it a few minutes ago. Letting them drop down is rewarding failure as well, says Keel. Justin says, would you ever manage a Premier League team if you had the chance? Oh, absolutely, I'd love to. Wouldn't we all? What's your England starting 11 for the World Cup, says Michael. I would... Well, it's going to be Pickford in goal. Reece James, I'd go at right back. I don't really mind out of O'Reilly and Lewis Hall at left back because I like them both. Centre backs, I probably would go Konza and Gahey. Maguire would worry me in the latter stages against pace. So he'd be fine in the early stages, but when it matters, he might get exposed for pace. So I'd go Konza and Gahey. Midfield three is going to be... I'd be. You could go Anderson and Rice, but I have a theory that if you don't need two workhorses in the midfield in the World Cup, I think you could have Rice and Bellingham, and then play Rodgers, and then Kane, and then Saka and Rashford. I would put Bellingham deeper next to Rice and play Rodgers. I do not think you need to play Anderson and Rice against most of the teams we're going to play. You might need to do it in the later stages, but not in the early stages. Corner Villa. Could be another one. Good save, keeper. Ooh. Apparently, just in relation to Southampton, obviously they're not happy that they can't play the playoff final, but apparently Hull aren't happy as well. They're saying they are unhappy that they've now got to face different opponents with a couple of days' notice, and their owner has said if they lose, they might take legal action as well. So it's a right mess in the Championship. As I say, I think the punishment's too harsh. And it's caused a right mess, hasn't it? Jadon Sancho's going to get on. Matsson's coming on as well. May as well give people minutes. Do, 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 do. Well, I think Middlesbrough beat Hull, won't they? From what I know, I think. Do you have any plans for the World Cup with Sky? Says Derek. It's a combination I never thought I'd hear. I mean, Sky don't have rights for the World Cup, so nothing with Sky, no. Early top 6 predictions for next season in order. No, I'm not bloody doing that, Vlad. What a couple of weird comments. How am I supposed to do that? I've got a bloody clue what the next top 6 is going to be next season. It's too many permutations. Who are Chelsea going to sign and sell? Are Liverpool keeping Slot? Who are Man United going to sign? Who are Man City going to sign? Who are Arsenal going to sign? Who are Newcastle going to sell and sign? Who are Villa going to sell and sign? I think the top 6 is becoming very difficult to predict. I know I predicted Arsenal to win the league. Well done to me, but I'm pretty sure I had Liverpool second. And I bet I had Chelsea in the top 4 as well. Premier League predictions are very hard. And I suppose that's good in the end. Southampton should have been penalised and be allowed to play with their left foot only. Right foot equals penalty for Hull, says Zuta. Rambo says Mark's a secret Liverpool fan. I thought I was a secret Arsenal fan. Forest fan. Chelsea fan. I think if you do That's Football, you're going to be a secret fan of every other bloody club that you do watch-alongs for, aren't you? Do you think Hearts will push for the title next season, says Leo? No, I think that was the chance. Mate, nobody's won the title outside Celtic and Rangers for 44 years for a reason. That was Celtic on a bad year, and they still won it. Do you think City will become more likeable without Pep? I think this is a great question. I can see why some people might think the answer is yes. I think if they become less of a threat, people might like them better. But I think until we get the court, I mean, look, is this going to be the summer of the City court case as well? I mean, you've seen what's happened with bloody Southampton. I think we just need the conclusion of that court case. Everybody needs to move on from it. Seven minutes to go. It's been over for a long time here. Villa 3-0 up. Oh, Manzambi on the back post there. Good save by Martinez. He won't even let up a clean sheet here. And you know what? That's the sign of a good performance, isn't it? You know, you get 3 goals, but as a defence, you want a clean sheet. I mean, I did it with Baller League on Monday night. With a minute to go, you're 2-0 up. I knew we were going to win. But I desperately wanted that clean sheet. And I think that's an insight into the mentality of what it's like to be a goalkeeper in a defence. That clean sheet is like your goal, isn't it? And Villa desperately want it. Sorry, I'm just reading Southampton's statement about that. You know what it is with the Southampton thing. I don't think anybody's thinking about the Southampton fans, and you know, I'm absolutely comfortable with this. I don't really, you know, have a problem with people disagreeing with me, but all I see is from sanctimonious people, cheating's cheating, and it should be dealt with like that. I guarantee they're not Southampton fans, and I guarantee if it was Arsenal or Man United or Liverpool, people would be going, it's over the top. It's over the top. When it's not your club, it's very easy to sit there and go, cheating's cheating. I guarantee if this happened to your club, you'd be going, this is a joke. It's like VAR, isn't it? It's like the PGMOL. When you get the decision, oh, well done, well done. But when it's against you, it's a joke. I just think, I think it's harsh, and I think it should be, because they've got to play the playoff final on Saturday, there's no time for a replay between Borough and Southampton, which was the logical thing. There should have been a replay between Borough and Southampton, and a fine to Southampton, but the calendar doesn't allow it, does it? But I think it's too harsh. And look, Plume says cheating is cheating. And I respect you, mate, if it was your team and you came on here and said cheating, cheating, but I guarantee you wouldn't. It's very easy to be a sanctimonious do-gooder when there's no consequence. But I guarantee most people, if it was their club, would go, no, I don't agree with that. And that's what I'm capable of doing. I put myself into the Southampton shoes and I go, a whole season, 46 games. You know, some of them Southampton fans will be kids, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds who followed that club all season, who think they might be coming into the Premier League to play people like Liverpool and Arsenal. And now they're not because somebody had a pair of binoculars at a game, at a training session. Just seems wholly disproportionate to me. But there we go. Cheats never prosper, yes. Well, they do. I wish cheats never prosper. The thing is, cheats do prosper, mate. Unfortunately, life's full of cheats doing very well in life. Life's not fair is a better. I think the only saying I would absolutely say conclusively that is true is life's not fair. Life's definitely not fair. But cheats don't always prosper is definitely not true. Cheats do prosper, mate. They do. Cheats do get away with it. We don't live in a world, and we never will live in a world where cheats. I mean, look at bloody KSI and Prime in the Baller League. They're in the top 4 playing in the finals. So cheats do prosper. Unai turned Lindelof to defensive midfielder. He's a goat, says Thomas. Well, no, I've got to shout out all the United fans who said to do that. A lot of people saying Man City as well. Becky Hale says, well done Villa, but don't like how they treated Harvey Elliott, and I take it you'll be doing United Stand on Sunday. I'm going to try and do a double stream, that's football and United Stand, because ultimately I'm going to be watching all the games anyway, so I'll probably have United on one screen and another game on the other and be flicking around, so we'll probably try and do dual stream, because some people just don't want to watch the United Stand, so we'll just do That's Football as well. Amazing Saints get docked. Meanwhile, Chelsea and City have been cheating for decades. Money talks, bribery is real, cheats do prosper, says Grand Prairie. Who'll be top 6 in 2030, says Limsky. It's like that person who said, who's the best team in the top 6 to have played at the Emirates this calendar year? K Miller Music says, I can't help but think that Arsenal could actually pull a Liverpool next year based on the fact their actual football wasn't very impressive. Just look at last 2 games, almost drew 2 relegation sides. Don't know what to think. I don't know. Arsenal have got an incredible squad and they could be more confident now that they've won a title. Brian Dale says, be a Westmeath fan, Mark. In what sport? Form says, is it hurling or is it the other one? Form says, calling it now, the 115 won't be resolved in 2026. I think you need to reword it, mate. Will we get a result on the 115 in 2026? No. Will we get a decision? Maybe. Because a decision will be appealed. What people don't realise is if Man City lose, they will appeal it. And that could be more years. We've got only 1 minute added on. And Aston Villa are going to win the Europa League. 5 times for Emery. The first European trophy for Villa since 1982. They are Europa League champions. What a moment. This is what football's all about. This is what it's all about. Winning things. Winning trophies. Only 1 minute added on, probably because the referee knew it wasn't going to make a difference if he added 10. There's Prince William. Villa fan. Future King of England. Comprehensive win. 3 good goals. Fantastic season for Villa and Emery. Top 5 already done in the Champions League, but they've qualified for it again. They've won the Europa League. John McGinn will be lifting it. And in Istanbul, it's Aston Villa's night. Lee Berman says, actually buzzing for Villa. Ozzy would be proud. David Cameron's a Villa fan as well, apparently, says Kevin. Simon says, the only thing Southampton did wrong was get caught. Everyone does it in one way or another. 100%. 100%. So if people think Southampton are the only team that have found out how another team plays, you are massively naive. And the funny thing is, most teams find out how other teams play without using binoculars. They use WhatsApp. They just message or ring somebody at the club who tells them. This Southampton situation is unacceptable. I think we deduct 10 points from Everton immediately, says Reverse Clouds. And as an American who chose Villa as my Premier League team 5 years ago, I couldn't be happier with my decision. Give Emery a statue, says Rig. Thank you very much for that. Well, we're watching Aston Villa here. They've won the Europa League. I thought that was a Villa fan then. He looked very miserable, but it's probably my colour blindness. It was red and not claret. A Night to Remember. Which is actually a film about the Titanic where it sunk and a load of people died. So don't think A Night to Remember is a bad way. I mean, look, you know, A Night to Remember could be a night where something bad happens, but it's not a bad night to remember for Villa. It's a night to remember in a good way. Memories they'll cherish, hopefully for the rest of their lives. Long lives. Although, looking at the age demographic of the crowd, we'd have to judge that on a case-by-case basis. I mean, one of them looks about 90, so. But the point is, Aston Villa are 2026 Europa League winners. Their first European trophy since 1982. He's carving an... this fascinates me. How do you do that by hand? How do they do it by hand? They must have a stencil to do it. Incredible. Incredible. Kay Miller says, sorry if already asked, does this mean that 6th place gets the Champions League? Only if Villa drop to 5th. If Villa stay in 4th, we don't get 6th place Champions League. But if Villa drop to 5th, we do. And I think the reason for that is because Villa would be finishing in 5th, that's a coefficient Premier League place. So it has to move down the league. Whereas if they finish 4th, for some reason it doesn't move down the league. It's a friction drill, Mark. My screen keeps flickering here. I don't know whether it's because it's in Turkey. Yeah, if Liverpool win and Man City lose, Liverpool will go 4th. Villa will go to 5th and Bournemouth will be in the Champions League. To be honest, there is something to be said that if you're Aston Villa, what do you want? Like Villa, do you want another team in the Champions League? I mean, if I'm Villa, I'm sort of like going, I want more teams in Europe so that we've got a better chance of finishing higher. Look, to be honest with you, if I'm Aston Villa, I'm thinking I hope Liverpool do finish above us because that gets another team into Europe below us, which means more teams are in Europe, which means more teams are playing twice a week. What you don't want is a scenario where a Chelsea or a Newcastle are not in Europe playing once a week because that gives them a huge advantage. So I actually think if I was Villa, I'd be like, I actually do want to create another spot in Europe, which is what it would do. Because if half the league are playing twice a week, your chances of finishing in the top 5 go up, don't they? But whether Villa will think about that, I don't know. They'll also be absolutely hungover and pissed, some of them, won't they? Quite rightly, they should be on the piss tonight, enjoying it. Fair play to the Freiburg fans. They've been brilliant, as they always are, Bundesliga fans. But they came up short tonight. And not because of their height, Prince William, I'll get my coat. Mate, I just can't believe this thing that I spotted that I'd never seen before. Emery has won the Europa League 5 times and with 3 separate clubs, but they all have Villa in the name. Villarreal, Aston Villa, and Sevilla, which is spelled Sevilla. So, yeah. It's incredible. It's an absolutely wild quiz question. How do you do that? How do you win the Europa League 5 times with 3 different clubs and all of them have got Villa in the name? That's an old one. Well, it can't be a bloody old one, can it? Because he's only just won it with Villa, you twat. Someone in the chat just said it's an old one. They've only won the bloody... They've only won it 5 minutes ago. It can't be that old. Q the Enya, says T.R. Crow. Where will his next club be? Is there another club with the word Villa in it? I think he's cornered the market there. Is there another club in Europe that has got Villa in the name somewhere? I think the only 3 ones that do are that. Maybe he said that at the start. Maybe he said, I only want to manage clubs with Villa in the name. Why did you get me the Arsenal job? Real Vallecano. Oh, nearly. Nearly. Yeah, look, well done to Villa. Absolutely fantastic result for them. Right, I'm never bothered about trophies being lifted because I have this... you might have noticed I have this thing that I don't watch other teams lift their trophy. Because I don't feel anything. I don't. I'm only interested in my team lifting a trophy. So, well done to Aston Villa. I won't be watching you lift it. I'm sure I'll see the footage in the morning. But thank you, everybody who tuned in. We've got lots coming up for you this weekend. As always, please do subscribe on the way out. Take care, stay safe, and I will speak to you tomorrow. There was a show on the United Stand tonight if you want to check that out. I'm back on the United Stand at 10 o'clock tomorrow, and we'll have some content on for you here tomorrow as well. Stay safe, take care. Well done to Aston Villa. UTV, up the Villa. Speak to you in a bit.